So today's daily coding question is this, and it's about integers and floats by the looks of it. And if I just get my little arrows working, we have a variable here, a, and it's assigned this value 18.5. The points over here, the decimal place over here, means that a will be of type float. We'll go into that when I start writing the code. And then we've got another variable here, b, and it's typecast from a, so a gets typecast into an integer and it's assigned into the value of b. And then finally we do a typecast on b, so b is no longer of type integer, it gets typecast into a float, and we print that out. And the question is which answer is it? Is it 18, 18.0, 19 or 19.0? So the first question is does the 18.5 get rounded up or rounded down? What does this int method over here, this int function, what does it actually do? And what it actually does, and we'll see this, is it just crops off, basically. It just takes out the integer part. So it's just going to take this 18 component over here. And so all that happens is this 5 gets lobbed off, and even if it was a 9 it wouldn't get rounded up. So it's not a rounding. There is a function in Python for rounding, but this is not it. This is just taking the integer part of it. The second bit is the float here, the float of b, and we are again typecasting. Now what happens if we typecast 18? Because in theory we've now got 18, or not 18.5 in here, but if we typecast it to a float, well, we're going to discover as well that a float looks like this, which is an 18.0, so it should have the decimal, and this here indicates to Python that the variable is of type float. So I think that we are expecting the answer to be B. I haven't actually done this question yet, so I'm going to do it now live. So let's just get on to the actual coding by writing a block of code. So we'll say that A equals 18.5, and in fact we are going to say that A is of type float here. So we can type int if we want. So A, which is a type float, is 18.5, and we can actually print out A at this point in time, just like that. And we see that we get the 18.5, which was as expected. The next bit is to say that B equals, and we're typecasting B to an int, so an integer value of A. And the first thing to do is that, well, we can print out B, but we won't just print out B, but when we print of B, but we'll also take a look at the type of B like this, and we see that we get the value of 18, kind of like as we predicted, but also we're told that it's of type integer. But we knew that it was a type integer because it's been typecast, so B is of type integer there, and it could only have been an 18 or a 19, it couldn't have had a decimal place. And just to actually show this, even if we didn't hint that A was of type float, if we did a, in fact I can just do it over here in the line above, but we could actually print A and the type of A, so we'll just do that for A, we will actually see, even without type hinting to a float, that A is of type float. So we didn't actually need to do any hint. This is just for the user. So, and likewise we could have hinted here, we could have said that we're expecting to get an integer part back, and it just shows that we understand what we expect to get back if you want to do proper type hinting. Nonetheless, we could have typed in here to a string and still run it, and guess what? We see over here that we still get a float. So these are only hints for ourselves, nearly just to tell a user what's actually happening. But anyway, finally, on this we are going to now, because we know that we've got 18.5 for A, and it's float, and we know that we've got 18 for B and it's an integer, we are now going to do the final statement, which is the print of the float of B, and we are going to see that. But of course, if we wanted to see what the type was of B, we'd actually have to see the type of the float of B, but that's obviously going to be a float because this thing here has already converted a string or a number, a string or number to a floating point number. So it's really going to be of type float, and therefore we're expecting to see the 0.0 just as we did here. The decimal immediately made something of type float. So if we run this, we get the 18.0. And funnily enough, even if this was like a point over here, so just 18 point, we see that this still here stays as 18.0. It says type float. So this little dot over here has meaning in Python. It's telling us, and if there was any decimals after it, it's telling us that A is of type float anyway. So that is this whole question has really been about types in Python. That's basically what it's been. It's been about types and typecasting. So we've looked at integers and floats and how they behave in Python. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, hit the like, hit the follow, and if you didn't like this video, still hit the thumbs up, like, and follow buttons.